Seguimos en el Mobile World Congress 2011, nos visita Stepháne Téral de Infonetics Research, con quien ayer tuvimos el placer de encontrarnos en una cena de Alcatel-Lucent, y le voy a preguntar, voy a cambiar al inglés. Stepháne, welcome to telesemana.com.
Thank you.
The first thing I was telling our audience very quickly that we met yesterday at the Alcatel-Lucent
Yes.
dinner. I don't want you to tell me everything you said there because there are some off-the-record things about your personal life that we don't want to reveal. You wouldn't want to talk about your Ferrari. But,
No.
but you predicted that Alcatel-Lucent was going to come back. And
Yes.
last week we saw the lightRadio announcement. I don't want to make this conversation just an Alcatel-Lucent conversation, but since they released this kind of innovative product, do you think this is a tipping point for Alcatel-Lucent, and why?
Absolutely, because it really shows that the merger is finally delivering after 4 or 5 years of integration. So when I say it is delivering, this innovative product is clearly the fruit of the integration, because we are talking about revolutionary technology that's going to change the way mobile networks are built. This little cube named lightRadio is actually made of 5 key things that were developed at Bell Labs.
Yeah.
So Bell Labs rings a bell. This is a very famous lab all over the world.
In innovation.
Yes. So we are talking about pure R&D here, and R&D being turned into a product. That product itself being very advanced, innovative, and revolutionary. So this is basically, I would say the Steve Jobs way.
Okay.
Yeah, when Apple came with the iPod, it revolutionized the way people, were listening to music. So it was actually sending a really bad message to the portable music player. Okay, so now this is sending, a warning to the typical base station business. Oops, this is no longer the base station I used to see, in my backyard. No, now we're talking about a little cube like this that, has so many capabilities, for a cellular network, that this is something to watch.
Okay, now, because you said some things that we need to address now. I mean, if this device is the iPod-like device, or compared to the iPod phenomenon, in terms of how the other manufacturers are going to be seen from now on, like, do you expect Ericsson, Nokia, Siemens Networks, Huawei to have something similar under the belt that they have not disclosed, or you think that they are completely offside and they were like, whoa, what the is this?
Well, in fact, yeah, they were caught off guard, I would say. It was actually very funny to watch the reaction, because the next day Ericsson came up with its own press release, but if you look at, this is great technology, there is no question, but nothing, very innovative. Overnight, they decided to remarket their existing base, which is the RBS. Nokia Siemens Networks came out with new things that were, basically already there. So it was kind of a repackaged. So nothing revolutionary, and Huawei, it's still, promoting its single RAN
Solution.
Yeah. So nothing revolutionary. But also we have to take into account that Alcatel-Lucent in mobile infrastructure has never been a strong player anyway. No. And all of a sudden, boom, they are just emerging as a strong force. And this is, a new thing. I would say this is the highlight actually of the show so far, how Alcatel-Lucent turned around. And the other aspect is, if you go to Hall 8, Alcatel-Lucent is no longer there. Alcatel-Lucent is up there in Hall 6. This is a major shift, from the past years.
Tell us what's the difference between Hall 1, 2 and Hall 6.
Well, in Hall 8,
or 8.
Yes, this is actually the major building that is adjacent to the main entrance of La Fila.
Which is where the big players are.
Yes, yeah. But in Hall 8, they only had a small booth and on the side a hospitality suite. which was very inconvenient. Now, if you look at Ericsson, Huawei, they always had an entire hall for themselves out there.
So you mean they shrank their stand because they have smaller base stations?
Yeah. Well, no, I'm saying instead of keeping a small booth and the hospitality suite in hall 8, making them not that visible, all of a sudden they are occupying an entire building, which is hall 6, where they have hospitality suite, all the demos around, like an Ericsson and a Huawei. So it's big.
Okay.
The point is, wow! All of a sudden you see, wow, Alcatel-Lucent is big. It's a big company because it was not perceived as such in the past years.
Now hold on. They have launched this revolutionary solution, which is great, but obviously they have to sell it now because sometimes having we could see the iPod. Or we could see Apple in the 90s or in the 80s when they launched the first PDA. Suddenly they went away and Palm came in with the PDA and they won the PDA battle, which was very short, but they won it. So, okay, we have a great product. Do we have a great market for this product?
Yes, definitely, because they are addressing a need, which is how can we beef up the coverage of existing network without impacting the environment too much.
Or the cost of installing.
Yeah, because there is, with the data, the rise of mobile data, it is becoming more and more difficult to optimize the existing infrastructure by adding new antennas, adding new cell sites. You really have to fight to find, a place for a cell site these days because of environmental issues.
Yeah.
So now with that cube, you can actually eliminate the big ugly antennas, use the same site, and put as much cube as you want.
Okay, so now we're gonna have the cube at this stand. So at some point,
really?
It's gonna bring it
good.
Here. It's just like this. So
yes, it's like a
they don't need a truck or anything.
Yes.
So when you see it, when I saw the announcement on the web, and I saw how the guy just removed the black blanket, and you saw the crystal thing with little thing inside, I thought this is fantasy. This is just something that's going to take forever before it's really commercially viable. When do you think this is going to be? I mean, they said at the end of this year, half next year, or when do you think this is going to actually be deployed, and which operator could suddenly be interested in this?
In fact, many of them are already very interested for the reasons I have just explained. Lack of new sites, lack of room on existing sites. So they really badly need to do something. And this is the product that they are looking at it like, oh my gosh, that can really solve my problem.